So we've already talked about how we don't want to market to just everyone. Who would you say your ideal client is?
You knew I was still trying to define that.
Okay,
No.
well that's what we're here for.
Let me think. Well, it's obviously somebody who's interested in genealogy. That would be the first step. They need to have the same interest.
So we're talking to somebody that has an interest in genealogy. Forgive me if I spelled this wrong. I hope I spelled that right.
You got it.
Okay.
Someone who needs help. You know, they are not familiar with all the research that's available out there. The
Okay.
information.
They're a novice. They're a novice. Or a
Yeah.
newbie to.
Yeah.
That's a really good word. Let's use that word. Okay.
It means a newbie.
This is the age range would be really, say, like for me, because I want clients, I would want to work with somebody who's probably 25 on up. I don't want to work with children. I don't want to work with
They don't have money usually.
Yeah, I don't want to work with, you know, teenagers or, you know, people like that. You know, even I picked 25 because I remember, you know, when I was 20 and 21, I was a hard worker, but I don't think I want to work with people, the typical, you know, where they're just still trying to figure out what they're doing and stuff like that.
So old enough to have an interest but be a little bit mature.
But being stable.
But if you had to choose, would you prefer to work with people, you know, say 25-year-olds or 50-year-olds, my age, or someone who is 75 and closer to the end of their life? Which, if you had to choose, if you had to choose one of those three, because you do, who do you see yourself enjoying spending time around, talking to, and working with?
Honestly, well, my first choice would be the 25 to probably 35, because I want somebody younger than me, so I don't feel intimidated. But then I'd also like to work on the other end with the older people, because they don't know how to do it either, you know.
And are you talking
And
about?
it would be, I'm, you know, it would be teaching the, you know, the beginning stuff, really teaching them how to use programs that are available, how to input their information and stuff like that. I mean, I don't mind. I can teach all aspects of getting started and, you know, where to find and, you know,
So are we talking
things.
like 65 and older, or is there an age you can put to that?
Well, it would probably be my age up to, you know, 60.
But if they're past 60, then you wouldn't?
No.
So older.
No, we're trying to, this is part of what we're doing, is to help
Well,
you.
and it's not really about numbers.
Well,
it's
yeah.
about, if you think of them, it's better. The goal is really to have the smallest niche possible, which will still pay you enough money. I mean, you don't want to only work with left-handed guys named Bob Smith who happen to live in Nantucket, because that's a small group and it won't pay the bills. But the smallest group possible, I'll give you my experience. I'm a business coach and an author, and I struggled because my goal was, I'm going to help people. You know, I know that no matter what is wrong with your business, I can help. But that's pretty vague and generic. When I started saying, I will teach virtual assistants how to grow their new VA business, all of a sudden, our business changed because I was focusing on exactly these people.
Okay.
So when you...
I was just going to say, and it doesn't mean that we don't have clients outside of that,
Absolutely.
but that's our focus. So if you can focus on one thing, you might still get these other people.
You'll absolutely be able to take the other things, but...
If you're going like that, then based on kind of the hourly charge that you and I set up, I would probably lean more towards 35 to 55, because I think they could afford it more because their children are growing, they're out of the house.
Yeah, so that's...
And my guess is that this age range is probably, if you lean towards something even a little bit higher, you know, if you're looking at people, so if you're talking to someone 35 years old, they've been using computers since they were a teenager, more than likely. And this is the range where people struggle the most financially. I mean, you hit 50 and you start to take off. But the first 15 years of this range is people who still have kids at home, they got a mortgage to pay, they have less money. But you do the 50 and older, basically old people, because I'm old people.
Well,
I know.
nesters.
I know I'm old people.
I'm going to say
I'm
the boomers.
40, so I'm going to be 40 in a few
Yes.
months, so it's like...
Do you still have kids at home?
Yes.
You have a large disposable income?
No.
So you're exactly who you're not looking for then, right? You want people who have plenty of
More
money
Okay.
to give to you, and people who now are looking for something to do with their time. Do you have a lot of free time to, I mean, are you looking for a new hobby to take on right now because you don't have enough to do?
No, not really.
No, you're kind of busy. If you have a family, you're kind of busy.
My new hobby is this, and this is what I'm
So-
trying to do.
So what you're looking for is people who are old enough that maybe they have reduced family responsibilities because they're empty nesters. They don't have kids at home that need them right now. And because they don't have kids at home and maybe they've paid the mortgage off and they've worked at their jobs for a long time, now there's someone that's probably got a disposable income looking for something to do because they finally have a little bit more time. And as we get older, it is natural that we develop an interest in where I came from and what's coming next. And
And you also, by focusing on this group, you still overcome you were saying you wanted to do younger because you wouldn't feel as intimidated. But you know quite a bit more than this age range does regarding the computer and the research and the types of things that you're doing. So you could still feel comfortable in working with these people because your knowledge actually is much more than what most of the people in that age range has.
Okay. Yeah.
So I hope you've
So-
written this part down because
Oh,
this
definitely.
is helping. Okay, go ahead, and
So,
then I have another decision.
I'd probably go up to 65 or maybe,
here's what
This
I
is
would
what
do.
we're doing. Forget the age range, now we're using these
We don't have
terms
numbers.
to describe the people, then they can decide
See, you
what
want
age
a
they're in.
rule, and we're not going to give you a
Right.
rule. We're going to make you think
I need
about.
specifics here.
These
It's
are-
hard
Okay.
to go.
Is empty nester specific? This is a
Yeah.
person who had children who had
Right.
moved away from home.
Okay.
Well, that's a clearly defined, black and white. Have you ever, have you had a family? Yes. Do they live at home with you now? No. Bingo! They're an empty nester.
Okay.
And they could be 42, they could be 69. Doesn't matter because they fit your criteria exactly.
Okay.
And by defining it that way, it makes it easier to find them. There's boomer magazines, AARP, I mean, you can just narrow your advertising niche down too by going with
Yep.
that.
Exactly.
Because if you're trying to talk to 25-year-olds and 65-year-olds at the same time, you have to be two people.
And
You
your
cannot
message-
talk to
It'll
two
get,
people.
your
at once.
message will get diluted, and then you're just that person in the crowd calling everybody. You're
Right.
saying, hey, hey, and nobody's listening. So use these terms in your marketing, on your website, in your blog. When you're thinking about your marketing messages and your ideal client, these are the people you want to write your messages to. And you could probably even get a little bit more specific. It might be that females versus males. Yeah, you took up some of my time. And so if that's the case and you need to go even more specific and say, well, I'm going to focus on the females in that age range, then that's something you can do.